The prophet Isaiah, only briefly mentioned among the prophets discussed earlier, was perhaps the most important of the prophets. This is a good time to discuss him now as we begin the people and events of the New Testament. Isaiah's ministry began in Judah about 740 BC, in the year King Uzziah died. This was about 20 years before Assyria conquered the northern kingdom of Israel. Isaiah served 3 other kings also, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, all kings of the southern kingdom of Judah. His ministry ended during Hezekiah's reign, and there would be about 66 years between Isaiah and Jeremiah. Like other prophets, Isaiah prophesied of judgments to come upon Israel and Judah, but also to all the nations who were Israel's enemies as well. Interwoven into the book of Isaiah are more prophecies of the Messiah than any of the other prophets. Through Isaiah, God spoke these words recorded in Isaiah 7:14. Behold, a virgin will be with child and bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel, which means God is with us. And in Isaiah 9:6, for a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. Isaiah 11:2-4 tells of the righteous reign of this Son of promise. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and strength, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. And he will delight in the fear of the Lord, and he will not judge by what his eyes see, nor make a decision by what his ears hear. But with the righteous he will judge the poor, and decide with fairness for the afflicted of the earth. And he will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Isaiah 52:13-15 speaks to the suffering of a servant, and then to his glory. For this servant is the Son of God. Kings will shut their mouths because of him, for what they were not told they will see, and what they have not heard they will understand. Isaiah 53 verses 5, 7, and 9 says, He was pierced through for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The chastening for our well-being fell upon him, and by his scourging we are healed. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shearers, so he did not open his mouth. His grave was assigned with the wicked men, yet he was with a rich man in his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. There are at least 37 scriptures in the New Testament where reference is made to Isaiah chapter 53. Isaiah 61, verses 1 and 2, speaks of the year of the Lord's favor. It says, The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God. This scripture would be repeated in Luke 4:19 and 20, when Jesus read in the synagogue all of Isaiah 61, verses 1 and 2, minus the last phrase, and the day of vengeance of our God. At that point, Jesus closed the book, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. Then Jesus said, Today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing. The people knew that the last part of that scripture was missing from what Jesus had read, and they wondered why he quit where he did. The reason was that Jesus had come to fulfill all that part that he had read, but not the part he didn't read, for that would not be fulfilled until his second coming. Also, Isaiah 65:1 says, "See, I will create new heavens and a new earth." This will not happen until the end of the millennium. So we see that Isaiah prophesied at least 3,700 years in advance, 700 years before Jesus was born, and it's now been almost 2,000 years since his death. So far, it's been about 2,700 years since Isaiah's prophecies. And then it will be another 1,000 years during the millennium before the new heavens and earth are created, as told in Revelation 21. Then I, John, saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there was no longer any sea. But long before a new heaven and earth will be the Lord's judgment on the earth. Isaiah 66, verses 15 and 16 says, "See, the Lord is coming with fire, and his chariots are like a whirlwind. He will bring down his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For with fire and his sword the Lord will execute judgment on all people, and many will be those slain by the Lord." These prophecies will be fulfilled at the Lord's second coming. This is all New Testament fulfillment.